been doing some thinking lately. Mostly about, when you look at most of these ministers, the problem that they have with Joseph Smith, they say it's because of the King Follett discourse. Well, he gave that address in 1844. He organized the church in 1830. So did they accept him early on, and then by 1844 they changed their mind and said, no, he has to be a false prophet? No. Did they ever accept him as a prophet, as a leader, as an actual minister of God? No. So you can't base it off what happened in 1844. You have to base it off the origin. What was the original thing that he did that made these guys so mad to say that he had to be a false prophet? It actually goes back to when he was 14 years old, when he claimed the first vision. They did not accept that. That's the origin of it. So that reality is, anything after that doesn't matter. That's the only thing that you need to talk about. This is the only thing the Protestants need to prove or disprove, is the first vision. So let's talk about that. Let's do some critical thinking about the situation. Joseph said he became concerned with the welfare of his soul at a young age. He saw all these different churches rising up, and he saw all the contention, people claiming they were the truth and the others weren't. The others were claiming they were the truth and the others weren't. He said he was so confused he did not know which one to join. So what did he do? He eventually hears a scripture in James 1:5, and he says he picks up the Bible and he read it himself, and he says that scripture hit him so hard. It says, if you lack wisdom, ask of God. He said that he knew if anyone lacked wisdom, it was him. If anyone needed a solution, he did. So he decided that's what he had to do, was he had to pray about it. So what did he say he did? He prayed to the Father in the name of Christ to find out which of the current churches to join. He thought he was going to receive an answer to join the Methodists or the Baptists or one of these other guys. That's what he thought was going to happen. But what happened instead? Instead, we see that the Father and the Son appear to him. He says he saw a pillar of light over his head that descended till it fell upon him. Then when he saw that light upon him, he saw two personages in that light, whose brightness and glory defied all description, standing above me in the air. One of them called me by name, pointing to the other, and said, this is my beloved Son, hear him. He got to ask which of the churches to join. He was told to join none of them. And then, as we know, the rest of the story continues, and he builds this church. Well, shortly after that event happened, he went and told a minister friend about it, and the minister immediately dismissed it and said, no, it was a vision of the devil. There are no such things as visions and revelations. You cannot talk about this any further. And then he went from there and spread through the town how all this information about Joseph Smith, and made him the village idiot at the age of 14. He was so angry about that. The ministers have been angry since that moment. Okay, let's do some critical thinking about that. What are they saying? They're saying that vision was a vision of the devil. That wasn't the Father. Think about that. Who did Joseph pray to? He prayed to the Father. He did not pray to Satan. He prayed to the Father. What they are saying is that Satan is more powerful than the Father. He can appear as the Son. He can appear as both of them. And he can teach you a different truth. That is what these guys are actually competing with. They're literally telling you, if you go listen to them, take everything aside, away from the Latter-day Saints, away from this whole thing, pray about the Book of Mormon, blah, blah, blah. You go join them. You say, what do I have to do to be saved? They will teach you what you have to do to be saved. And then it's, okay, what do I do now? Well, here's the sanctification process. Pray to the Father. They're going to teach you to pray. They're going to teach you all the exact same stuff. They're going to teach you to pray to God. What these guys now have to teach to be consistent is be careful though, Satan can intercept your prayers to God. And he can deceive you. Think about that. Does that even remotely make sense? How can Satan be more powerful than the Father? How can he intercept prayer? How can he have any of those abilities? That is literally what these guys have to ascribe to. Are you willing to do that as a Protestant? Are you willing to do that as a Catholic? Is to deny people, to deny that God has the power to answer your prayers. Are you willing to state that Satan is powerful enough to intercept those prayers and answer them for you? My contention is that is not possible. My testimony is that isn't possible. My testimony is Jesus Christ is the one who's right when it says, ask and you shall receive. He didn't say you shall receive from Satan. Also, Satan is never going to he's never going to destroy his kingdom by building the kingdom of Jesus Christ. He's not going to lead you to Christ to get you away from Christ. That doesn't make sense either. Even Jesus, the Pharisees claimed that that's what Jesus was doing. He was casting out the devil by the power of the devil. And Jesus said, well, if that's true, then Satan's kingdom is divided against itself and cannot stand. So everybody who's claiming that we believe in a different Jesus and we're still leading you to the one in the New Testament, that doesn't make sense. You are twisting the scriptures. That is not what Paul's talking about when he says a different Jesus. I've already shown in my video on what a different Jesus is, what that actually looks like, and it's literally a different guy. Leading you to the same guy that has a little different origin than you think does not make him a different Jesus. It literally has to be a different guy. And as John says in 1 John 4, 2-3, angels of the devil will not lead you to Christ. They will not testify of his resurrection. Angels of God will. So that is always ultimately going to be the difference. And the Latter-day Saints lead you to the resurrected Christ. So, again, you have to be willing to say that Satan is more powerful than God for your worldview to work. I testify, he is not. God is way more powerful than Satan. He will answer your prayers, and he does have the ability to tell you, or he did have the ability to appear to Joseph Smith in that moment. He did have the ability to rebuild his church, to start preparing the world for the second coming of Jesus Christ. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. But if you decide to do none of those, share this video at least.